But yeah, let's get into this. We could talk a little bit about the Deshaun Watson situation while I play this. It's interesting. It's been kind of chronicled over the last year, and we've seen a lot of twists and turns with it. I mean, ever since he sat out last season from playing with the Houston Texans to that trade, which the Texans won. Browns fans, get at me in the chat. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. It seemed like he could have been out of the woods there for a minute with, the way things kind of ended with the 6-game suspension by the federal judge. I don't know if she was a federal judge or a former federal judge. I remember hearing. I'm not entirely sure. But I know that that she ruled that basically he just deserved a 6-game suspension, and that is what it is. But it's kind of started some controversy on, and my biggest issue with the NFL is in these suspensions that they're giving out is that they're just not uniform, and there's no, and I know that all these situations are different, but it's like there needs to be some sort of level of consistency here as far as, what we are going to see from these different suspensions for these different acts of misconduct. I mean, a lot of people are bringing up the Calvin Ridley situation where he's been suspended the whole year for essentially gambling on games that he wasn't even playing in. That's something. And then now you have this Watson situation where he's only getting 6 games suspension, for, all of these allegations. And I mean, I know there hasn't been that much substantiation to a lot of it. It is going to be interesting to see how this all plays out because the NFL announced today that they're going to appeal this. So, how many games will he get? Personally, I think he's going to get like 12 games. I think they're going to boost this up from 6. They are going to make kind of an example out of him for this, but I don't think it's going to be that's the thing. Like the NFL, if they were going to just give him 10 games or 8 games, they wouldn't even appeal it at that point. I mean, 6 games is what it, I think it's going to be substantially more than that now because they're going this length to appeal this in court. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out and what precedent it sets for the future of the NFL and what is to come in that regard. But I've never been a guy that's been super high on Deshaun Watson anyway. So even when he played at Houston, I thought he was decent at best. And it's going to be interesting because the Browns put so much money into this guy. And all of it is on the back end of that heavy guaranteed contract. Most of that money is coming on the back end. So it's going to be very interesting to see in a couple of years, even if Watson doesn't play this year, if things don't work out, oh my goodness. It's going to be very interesting to see, in the future when he's guaranteed all this money, how tradable he's going to be when this inevitably doesn't work, which I'm pretty sure it's not. I mean, maybe it does. And and I'll be happy to be proven wrong in that situation. Not happy, but I'll accept it. But it's a gamble, no doubt, because you're giving this guy all this guaranteed money, and he didn't play all of last season, and he may not play the majority of this season. So, where are you going to be at that point? And on top of that, if he does end up playing and it doesn't work out, then you're on the hook for, $200-something million, all on a backloaded contract, because I don't think he's getting a lot of money this year because of this whole situation. So, I don't know, man. It's gonna be very interesting to see how this all plays out. But yeah, I think the suspension is going to be much more than it is now at this point, because they wouldn't go through the trouble of appealing it if they weren't trying to get more games on the suspension at this point. And it just makes kind of a little bit of sense. I mean, if you're going to give Calvin Ridley that much time, a whole season, because he was gambling on games he wasn't even in, and I'm not saying that that's right. It's against the rules, but for this kind of situation that is an off the field issue, that is pretty spicy and horrible PR. And that's kind of why I didn't understand why they would even want to give him all that money in the first place. I was just like, it doesn't. I mean, do the ends really justify the means here? I mean, the guy is, whether he did any of the stuff or not, it's fishy and it's just bad PR. And on top of that, to give him all that money for a guy that was good but not amazing, I was never like blown away by the guy. So it just has been kind of a head scratcher for me with Cleveland, and it felt like they just got really desperate. Needed to get rid of Baker Mayfield, which I do agree with. Baker Mayfield's not. Watson's definitely better than Baker Mayfield. I mean, you can't argue that. So I guess it just seems to me like they got very desperate and had to kind of make a move. Oh my goodness, they're punting it. Shoot. Oh, they're gonna try and pin me. Oh well. But yeah, I mean, it's a weird situation, man. It's. I certainly wouldn't want my team in this kind of situation. It's bad optics all the way around, and I don't know what they're gonna do. There it is. There it is. But, I mean, I think Watson's pretty good, but I don't think he's a 247. I think it's $247 million guaranteed, and most of that's guaranteed money. Worth it, especially with all this scandal and weird circumstantial evidence. And I mean, my thing with it too is like, you're the quarterback of the Houston Texans. Like, do you really need to DM these, so-called massage therapists on the internet, to, get your fix, for lack of a better term? I mean, like, seriously, it's like, it just, for me, it was always just kind of a head scratcher, because it's like, dude, like, you're literally the quarterback of the Houston Texans. Like, do you really have to go to those lengths? I guess so. I mean, we saw this kind of thing too. The NFL has a weird, like, rub and tug kind of culture, with the Robert Kraft situation, which was very strange and kind of just disappeared. I bet Browns fans are wishing that this would disappear like that. But yeah, there's a weird culture going on with the NFL, man. Like, these guys, like, they can't find women naturally. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys are getting millions of dollars. Like, you really need to go to these lengths? And that's what makes me think, like, how involved was the Houston Texans in all of this? It's a strange thing. Oh, I threw it right to him. Oh, good thing that I did not get turned over. But, I mean, yeah, like, how involved were the Texans in this? I mean, were they, involved in the, were there other individuals that were involved in this, that were on the team, in the franchise? Like, makes you wonder. Oh, yes! It definitely makes you wonder, though, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. That's for sure. Because, Watson, the whole thing, like, how many games is he going to get suspended? Because you got Jacoby Brissett, who's the backup, and, he's not bad. He's a serviceable quarterback, and, teams can get behind him, but, I mean, is he going to win you? But you can't afford to be missing Deshaun Watson in this division. When you have the Bengals 2 times, you have Pittsburgh, who's going to play teams hard. I mean, they're not, that much of a threat as they've been in the past, but they're going to play teams hard. And you have Baltimore, who is always, who has Lamar Jackson and a really solid defense. So it's like, you can't afford to have, Watson out for even just 6 games, but it's going to be more than that at this point. So, I mean, it's like, are they just going to write this whole season off at this point? Like, it's going to be interesting, man. Oh!
And the completion is good for 6. Watson played the pass perfectly, zeroing in on his man despite
Third and inches. I gotta go QB sneak.
That's the key, Dan. Make third down easy, and they did just that.
Now they just need to convert.
Get up to the line.
Watson will get the carry.
Boom, got it.
And picks up the first down.
Watson decided at the last moment to scramble back there, and it worked out.
A big game.
Yeah, so
And they will easily
I mean that's that. You know, it's gonna be interesting, and I guess with this appeal too, Roger Goodell is
the first quarter. It's still a scoreless game.
appointing the attorney, or I'm sorry, the judge, I guess, for this. So, or whoever, you know, is, I guess it's the judge in this situation. Roger Goodell is appointing it, though. I can look it up, the context of it, but
Watson saw no other option back there and scrambled out of the pocket for a gain. That's a great play.
But yeah, it's a fishy situation, man. It's gonna be. Yeah, here, article from the Wall Street Journal right here we can check out. The appeal, Roger Goodell, or someone he designates.
But they also have a go-to receiver in there. Let's watch.
Yeah, Judge Sue Robinson. She was the judge that gave him the 6-game suspension.
Yard on the play. And
Let's run it in with Deshaun Watson at this point.
Woods made the save, dropping the ball carrier before he could get to the markers.
that's his second tackle so far.
I'm going to kill a little clock here. But yeah, Watson's case stemmed from dozens of women, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Judge Sue Robinson was appointed mutually. The NFL, NFLPA, league argued that Watson... let me just run this in real quick. Oh, I didn't get it. Did I get the first down?
Okay, bring him out.
League argued that Watson should have been suspended indefinitely and for no less than a year based on its assessment of how his behavior violated the league's conduct policy, personal conduct policy.
Coach Fox is not happy with that call. And
Ooh, they're challenging the spot.
Carolina is challenging the spot of the ball. This is their first challenge of the game, and even if they lose this one, they still have one challenge left.
As we watch the replay here, look for where the ball is when he's
Dude, he crosses.
all
He crosses. Look at this.
down.
Right there. Right there. That's a first down.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. Carolina will not be charged.
What?
Fourth down.
What? Are you kidding? Oh, hell no. Give me a fullback dive. Here we go. Fullback dive. No! No!
Rips him down in the backfield, and that will force a turnover on down.
Oh my God.
Wilson makes his presence known on this one. He's going to haunt the ball carrier's dreams for a while. Oh, big tackle on fourth. That's how you stop a conversion.
Peter, I have to say I am stunned. They went for it there. They were well within range of a field goal to put them in the lead.
Well, they have
Yeah, but like,
they go back to the bench empty-handed.
I was not settling for a field goal right there, yo.
Defense settles into a nickel package.
Number 22 goes right up the middle and
Oh my God.
one on the play.
Okay,
That's messed up, yo.